Well guys, I kind of forgot my camera. Last video was Monday and it is now Thursday, so yeah, I gotta get the passenger seat in, but I think this time instead it's a lot quieter now because it's not a holiday and a lot of people are at work, so I'll be able to actually film some stuff. So I'll show you guys how I attach the seats, and yeah, it should make for a little better video than just showing you guys what I did instead of how I did it. There's wasps everywhere. But yeah, I guess I'll get the passenger side front all cleaned out, and then we'll start mounting the seat. I cannot wait. Once I get them run, then I got to or secured, then I got to run wires, and then I'll have the full up down, front back, and hopefully heat. That'd be nice. Dude loves me some heated seats. But one other issue is this light, it won't turn off. It apparently was illuminating the whole truck a couple days ago, and it's supposedly run through here and the door switches, but I think that door switch is kind of messing up a little bit. This one works. This is one I got from Pick and Pull, and I don't know if that works or not. Like, I'm pretty sure maybe that's it. I don't know. It's supposed to have a click in it, if I remember right, to turn on the interior lights, but it doesn't. Well, I guess those lights, they just goes dimmer, but it doesn't turn off, so I've got a bad ground or a short to ground somewhere. So I'll get that fixed as well, and got to fix the horn. Yeah. A little bit of stuff to do, but priority is getting the seats in. Once the seats are in, then I can focus more on other things, but I gotta get this thing driving. Gots to get her driving. So, I guess I'll start mocking up the passenger seat and we'll get her done, show you guys how I do it. Alright, so the first step is to rough mock up the seat, get her going where you want, and then make a couple of dots on ye old floor. What I'm going to do is I'm probably going to cut out that section, see what's underneath it. If it's anything like that one over there, yeah, it's got a ridge in it. So I originally had it drilled into the ridge, and it was too far offset that way. So when I was sitting, the steering wheel was like an inch to my right, so the seat was too far outwards. So I had to re-drill the floor and re-weld those bolts in, but this one I plan on doing it properly the first time. So yeah, it's already freaking getting warm in here. Thank frig the truck is white, but holy cow, it's still warm in here. So I'll cut the floor, inspect that. Actually, it all feels flat, so it should be fine. Maybe I'll just pop a couple holes and Bob's your uncle. So I guess if I was to explain it a little bit better, what you want to do is take your seat and find out what is the easiest part to do first. The easiest would of course be the flats. That's why I'm starting with the back. Jumping spider. So once I get the back done, then I can work on fabricating some stuff for the front to get that secured. But if I was to start off with the front, it would be a lot more difficult trying to get everything set up properly. So I'll get these couple of holes drilled in. We'll get some bolts made up with some big anchor plates that won't pull through the floor in case I get into an accident. I'm not saying I'm gonna, it's just good practice. If you're ever bolting seats down, you want something big to stop it from pulling the seat out through the floor. So I'll get those two holes drilled, I'll size them up to 1/2 inch, and then we'll go hunting for some hardware. Build ourselves some anti-pull-through plates. Alrighty, now that I've got the holes drilled, I've test fit my bolts. They seem to be working just fine. So next step is to build the plates, the anti-pull-through plates. and then weld the nuts, or weld the bolts to them, because I like to have the threaded section inside the cab. That way it's not exposed to elements, it doesn't get rusty, and it doesn't snap off like what that one did. They had to, there it is, they had to weld the friggin' the seat to that because they snapped off the bolt, because anytime you thread something into the outside, it's exposed and it will rust. And if it's not maintained, it will break off, and it's not a lot of fun. So that'll do. That'll do just fine. So I got my piece selected. This is, I believe, 3/16. So it looks like. So plenty strong, plenty beef. So on the outside, I do have a support, I guess, cab support, structural part that is right beside the hole where I've got a drill. So one of my holes is going to be offset, and the other one can be centered, or it can be offset, doesn't matter. For these plates, I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe inch and a quarter by, I don't know, however long this is. It looks to be about 2 inch. So it's about the same size as the other ones, and I cannot move that seat reefing on it, so I'm not super concerned about that. But I'll get my parts all laid out here, and then what I'm going to do is drill them first, and then I'm going to cut them out with the angle grinder. So yeah. Alright, so I got the whole locations marked out, and I got my lengths, or my widths, marked out. The reason why I've selected the center one on the outside is because if I tried to drill that hole on the outside plate, the drill bit could wander off, and then it would screw everything up. So that's why I'm doing it that way. So anyways, I'll get this drilled up, I'll get it cut out, and then we'll put the bolts in and weld them up. So we got our holes drilled. Not too bad, no cleanup. Love using a piece of wood, and when you poke through, you get a good smell after too. I love the smell of fresh cut wood. But yeah, I'll hack these out with the angle grinder and clean up the backside, and then weld the bolts to them, poke them through the floor upside down, weld them in, bolt the seat down, and then start fabricating the front parts. Here's our finished parts. I just took a bolt, whacked the head off it, and poked it through probably about halfway up, and then filled it in with weld. Not pretty, but she'll work. She'll work just fine. Alright, we're in full summer mode now. I got my soaked t-shirt wrapped around my head. Yarr! But yeah, I got it soaked, so it's ice cold, keeping my head cooled, keeping the sun off my neck, which is important when you're working out in the sun, because it gets toasty. And that's the reason why I forgot my camera and my soldering iron and a whole bunch of other things. Way too much sun, way too much heat, and it's getting a little loopy. So anyways, I want to take preemptive strike against the heat today, because it's supposed to get up to 31 and high UV. So now that I got my headgear on, I'm going to crawl underneath the truck and start grinding the floor to make shiny for welding. Still got my back brackets burned in. Now we can get the back bolted down and see what we got to build for the front. I have no idea why one is longer than the other. They were cut the same length and welded in to the same size steel and welded in at the same depth, so, but it's not a big deal. Ooh, that's freaking toasty. Alrighty. Might require additional limbs. See if I can hold you guys. There. There. That'll do. So now I'll get this thing bolted down, and then we'll see what we got to deal with for the front. Well, it kind of looks like she's got a little bit of a lean onto her, so I might take the washer and throw it underneath. I think I had to do that on that side as well, just to get the seat to sit straight, but not a huge deal. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then swap over. Well, I got to grab the wires and hook power up to this seat so I can move it back, and then we'll see what we got to deal with in the front. So I got the back of the seat mocked up. It's bolted down at the back there. Once again, we got our holes drilled in the pieces. Not too bad. Very little cleanup. That seam line there is not going to be a big deal because I cut the heads off the bolts, and I weld them not flush. I weld them about halfway down, so that is not going to be a big deal at all. So yeah, let's get these things burned in. Air stock that I've got, and trace out the lines, cut them out, and burn them in. Here's the pieces that I'm working with. They're about 3/16 wall, so that'll work for that piece. And that should work for that piece. It's not quite tall enough, but I do want to suck down the outside a little bit, so that should work. That should work just dandy. So now I'll trace these pieces out, cut them out, and Bob's your uncle. We got our pieces cut out and test fit, and that right there is where we need to drill a hole. Preferably right in the middle, but this is the line that we need to hit to get the proper height on the seat. So I'll go ahead and pop a couple holes in here. We'll go harvest some more 1/2-inch bolts, and I'm probably gonna have to run to the store and get some nuts because I think I'm out. But yeah, we'll get these holes drilled in here, welding the bolts in there, and that should be all. If you guys want to know how I'm drilling holes straight in things that are not sitting level, put it on a piece of wood, because the inside of here is flat. So that's how I drill a hole straight up and down, as long as the piece of wood that you're using is straight as well. Just try to drill a hole into there without transferring it through the backside. So that's how I do it. Little tips and tricks. Alrighty guys, well, I got that those two things all burned in, so not quite tightened down, but I didn't tighten the back down yet either. But yeah, it's freaking solid. Ain't going nowhere. So next up is the center console. That's not a huge deal right now. I can do that later now that I've got the two main seats in. That's good enough for now. What I'm gonna do right now is upgrade the big three. 100% Abby approved.